What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wasn't even going to go into this in great detail, but it is making the rounds, has been, so I wanted to go into the United States women's team loss. I don't follow soccer much. I actually thought because of color schemes, things of that nature, that they were going to make the run, but it's interesting because even people that just think it's real, they were just actively rooting against the United States because of how much they don't like Rapino. I'm talking about Americans. And furthermore, there's people saying that they think that she blew the kick. And these are people that genuinely believe sports aren't rigged. Now, what's interesting is, it was brought up in my Discord, and I want to thank Dab, Creaky Joints, and everyone that went into it. But Dab had posted this article. You can see her smiling. And this is interesting because this is after her missed kick that would have essentially sealed victory for Team USA. They most likely would have won there. But what I had noticed, and if you can find just the full match, if you watch it back, before this, when USA hit their first 2 penalty kicks, she wasn't even celebrating. They were smiling. They would really, jump up after. She was just standing there stoic. And then when they hit the third one, she did the same thing. The only time she smiled was after she missed her kick, which I found interesting. So you have people that are pointing out they think that the game was thrown. Other people are pointing out that they just think she deserved to lose. Now, something I found interesting, and I'll show you, I put it in my Discord when I saw having Creaky Joints talking about it. She's one of the very few who wasn't standing. She's one of the few who decides to kneel. And others are pointing out that, and again, I didn't really follow, so she does give Ellen DeGeneres vibes, though. People are saying that she is bullying other players on the team, which is definitely something I think she would be able to do when she was especially the star of the team, these younger players. If you see some of the other photos, she's basically the only one kneeling. Here's one. So there's a good chance that she just didn't like a lot of her teammates, especially if they loved the country, because, she admittedly does not love the country. Trump did a pretty good number on her. But what I find interesting, and this is what I put in my Discord, after I saw this, it reminded me of this photo that this ESPN put out this article. Okay, so we can go cover the basics. Rapino is calling it a sick joke that she missed the penalty. And again, I put emphasis on the word joke, and you see she's laughing here on the right. But on the bottom, we have Lauren Williams, who's crying. So she's crying, and Rapino's laughing. Rapino's kick is, again, the more pivotal one because it swung everything back in favor of Team Sweden, where she could have won it. And she just didn't seem to care. Others were crying after the match, hugging, and she was laughing. So the question becomes, was she forced to do this? If so, why is she laughing afterwards? Is it so people can see how big of a, actor she really is? Or is it the Lauren Williams and the women are being punished because of political reasons or whatever the case may be, and that's why Rapino is the one laughing? I'd wager to say it's more of a penance for Rapino because I just went over this with LeBron James. Players on their way out, happened with Tom Brady. Tiger was more towards the end. They seem to shame these players, so they're just remembered for something embarrassing. So she'll be remembered for missing a penalty kick, one that she routinely would make in a very important performance, and people are going to remember her for her off-the-field antics more so than what would have been a legacy-building kick. But I found, again, that they have their face almost in the same posture, and ESPN had to go out of their way to make both of these articles and choose both of these thumbnails and have two polar opposites. And Williams is apparently one of the young girls that Rapino bullied. Now, I think I didn't even notice this. Creaky brought up that they're doing the one eye symbolism. You see all the celebrities do it, where they cover their one eye. So I didn't catch that. I just caught that they're basically doing the same thing, except one is laughing and one's crying. But it is interesting that they're doing the one eye too. So yeah, reading it on Twitter is pretty interesting. There's so many people that just don't like her, and that could be why they lost. They could have said, "Hey, nobody's watching," or they're just rooting for the United States to get booted. It kind of reminds me of the year LeBron got all political, and for the first time in his career, they missed the playoffs, and there was a pretty drastic increase in ratings without LeBron. If you guys remember that year, they were showing how without LeBron and their playoff numbers went up. So it could be that. I can say basically universally from people that believe it's real to people that believe it's fake, they are happy that Rapino missed this. So a lot of people might have bet against them just because they wanted them to lose. You have that possibility too. But yeah, for me, it brings up a question that I always ask: how many people are involved, and what does this mean? So I'd love to know your guys' opinion. I thought I'd cover it just because it is quite interesting. I think it's a penance. That's why they made her go out of her way to look like she's smiling. It could be something she blatantly did, but I don't think players can just get away with that. Whereas the other players look like they were sad, and all now people are looking at the other players. Oh, they're such great players. Poor Lauren Williams, poor Sophia Smith, and they look at Rapino and they're like, this she's got to go. She's a toxic Ellen DeGeneres of the soccer team. So maybe she wasn't drawing. Maybe her off the field antics did not help, as they've not helped in every other sport that they've tried it in, where they try and get political. And maybe that's why she's being, as these people are putting it, deplatformed is essentially what's going to happen. But yeah, I don't think it's an accident she missed that kick. I do think she was told to miss it, and then probably even told to laugh afterwards, smile for the camera. But at the very least, her actions and the way she's laughing and the way the whole thing was treated should show people, if you're watching and you still think, oh yeah, these guys are on the up and up. I just don't think that could be possible. I really don't. So yeah, let me know what you think. As I said, the bullying was something that was more recent that I noticed. Some of the other stuff I already knew she was doing as far as off the field antics. Not really caring that much about the game. She was never a great player. She was more just known for just being very vocal, and that'll be enough for some players to be remembered for almost like the Pat Beverly effect, I'd say. But she's done some great things. I think her off the field antics have really kept her more popular. But yeah, the consensus is she has to go. And here's one that people brought up. The video has been posted many a times and still available on X without the copyright yet here on Target. So here's somebody. Maybe, I don't know, maybe this person thinks it's karma is a beautiful thing, never disappoint, go woke, go home. I'm not sure why that would have been locked. I guess, for political reasons. I thought maybe the top secret was going into why they thought it was rigged. But yeah, you have people that obviously don't like her for political reasons, which is fine. I mean, I live in America. I can understand why she's not the face of what people want to embrace. To me, again, she just gives me Ellen DeGeneres vibes. But this picture right here speaks a million words. Again, if she's bullying the team and she's not happy with the fact that they're standing for the anthem, you put those two things together, ratings start collapsing, and it makes, in my opinion, again, this picture make a lot more sense. Her just laughing, it's a sick joke, that probably told her she had to do it. And then you have Lauren Williams, who probably really wanted to win, and she's not happy that her team failed, so... And what makes it more interesting is they tagged Rapino in at like the 82-minute mark. Like, if she's that valuable, you would have brought her in sooner. They showed her running around like she was getting ready to come in. And then it was clear they only brought her in for the penalty kicks, which obviously we saw how that went. So I thought it was interesting, and again, I think it just proves that the rigging is across the sport leagues. I don't think there's a league that doesn't do the rigging. So again, as I always say, let me know what you think. If you think both of these girls are best friends, if you think the bullying might be more than met the eye, if you think this is the send-off for Rapino, I think it's a penance. I always say from pendants to penance. So they got their pendants, in this case, their trophies, their medals. They got a bunch of that stuff, and now she's paying her penance on the way out, and we'll see what happens with LeBron. But I think they run parallel. I really do. The goats, quote goats of the different sports, always have a penance to pay. But yeah, just very interesting. And again, what are the odds? And this is what really got me, of the same outlet putting them right on the same page for you to see the side by side. that's the part that really I found very interesting. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.